Hello students, and myself Rahul from Mock Test for You, and we are here to start the very well awaited course plan of NEET and NEET 2021 in our focus. And you can see I have written down some of the key points regarding the NEET preparation on physics. So, whenever we go through the syllabus curriculum of NEET, we can at least go for one particular thing, that is the 19% weightage to the mechanics in NEET. The 19% weightage we can see in NEET for mechanics, and I have written the chapters starting from dimension and error up to the gravitation. So this particular concept that we have to go one after another, and if we think about the past 15 years questions of, initially it was AIPMT, now it is NEET. So whenever we think about this AIPMT or whatever it is NEET, then we must focus on one particular concept, that whenever we are going for NEET preparation, we have to concentrate on these three sections. One is the applications of dimensional homogeneity, the second case is dimensional analysis, and the third case is the theory of errors. So from here, if we want to give stress on this type of preparation, according to your study plan, you can see how many classes are there. So whenever we are going to prepare for NEET, you know the chapter is, you know the what are the chapters content, but we need to revise a little bit for dimension and error, this particular thing, that units and measurement. We know very well there are two types of quantities in terms of dimension. One is dimensionless and the other type is with dimension. So whoever it is dimensionless, you know without any introduction, the dimensionless quantities, the quantities which are dimensionless, can be written as M0, L0, T0, and obviously within the third bracket. Now any dimension, why I am writing in terms of these three? Because we know there are some fundamental quantities which are independent of everyone, which does not depend on any other physical quantities, like mass, like length, time, like temperature, like electricity, there is electric current, and the mole, the quantity of any substance, and the luminous intensity whose unit is candela. So this kind of things are known as the basics or fundamental units. Now when we think about the fundamental units, the dimensions of them also becomes the independent one. So the independent dimensions what we get, that is mass, length, time, temperature, current, and luminous intensity and mole. Though in case of physics the application of mole is not that much for the case of dimension, but it is there. Candela also, that is the luminous intensity is not that much used, but the most important five parameters will be, that is mass, length, time, current, and temperature. Mass, length, time, current, and temperature. And here I am introducing that M for mass, L for length, capital T for time, theta for temperature, or even you can write it for capital K, which is starting from the concept of Kelvin, and sometimes I for current or for ampere. So they also write it as capital A. So these are the fundamental dimensions. If you see previous year's NEET question papers, you can see that how this type of questions has taken place on basically this type of fundamental quantities. Now obviously in NEET we have to go for some various type of questions. So one of them will be starting from directly on the concepts of basic dimension, and all the materials you can see of us, and all the other things like you can see the textbook you are following for NEET preparation already. You can see there are some charts. Those charts are carrying some dimensional quantities, and now as you have completed your class 12 and some of you are in class 12 focusing NEET 2021, so you are definitely eyeing on a success, and whenever you are focusing to your desired medical rank, so we need to hard work a little bit far greater than what we did before. So the board preparation and the entrance preparation is completely different. So if it is difficult, still we have to do it. We have to memorize the dimensions, because because sometimes I can show you because I don't need to remember. But for exam time, you will face 45 questions for physics, 45 questions for chemistry, and 90 questions for biology. Oh, that's great. So 180 questions we will be facing in just 180 minutes because of 3 hours. And in the 3 hours, take at least 10 to 15 minutes time for the official protocols and signing, registering, attendance, these, that, exam hall, filling, and all these. So actually, you are answering 180 questions in less than 180 minutes, within 160 to 165 minutes. So per question, you are getting a time, you have to solve per question within an interval of less than 1 minute in some seconds. So if we spare times for calculating the different quantities dimensions, so it will be in vain. So ultimately we have to remember some of the dimensions which are so common and which are so much usable in different cases. Now suppose in any time you are asked that what is the dimension of resistance, I'm asking a simple thing like some quantities we use frequently in every cases of physics, but every time we should remember that this should be our ultimate goal, to remember all these basic dimensions, like very popular dimension, not basic like mass, length and time, but the very popular terms in physics. Like if I ask you the dimension of power, if I ask you the dimension of pressure, if I ask you the dimension of resistance, if I ask you the dimension of potential difference, if I ask you the dimension of capacitance. So these are all common questions. Now suppose if I have asked you the dimension of pressure, so pressure I can write it like this, or even you can write it in full words, that dimension of pressure would be what? It has to be force by area. So when you are writing force by area, it has to be M